While the confetti is still falling over the so-called victory of remission, up to 60% of people who survived schizophrenia get sucker punched by a second, quieter illness. In fact, research shows that a staggering 60% of individuals diagnosed with schizophrenia will experience at least one major depressive episode during their lifetime, and a quarter of them are battling it, even during remission. Today I'll be pulling back the curtain on post-schizophrenic depression, this invisible phase that no discharge papers warns you about, the dark side of recovery that no one prepares the patient for. Doctors call it post-schizophrenic depression, ICD code F20.4 if you like numbers. This isn't just a casual label. It's an official recognized subtype of schizophrenia, acknowledging that this isn't just a bad mood, but a distinct and serious clinical condition. And in plain English, once the voices fade and the delusion loses its grip, a dense fog of hopelessness and emptiness, and yes, often suicidal thoughts rolls in. It's not just the blues or negative symptoms wearing a fake mustache. It's a full-blown major depressive episode plopped right on top of a brain already battered by the sheer trauma of psychosis. This condition is significant because it represents a profound challenge to the quality of life and long-term prognosis. Roughly 1 in 4 survivors meet the clinical criteria for depression, even while clinicians are happily labeling them stable. But surprise! You're not stable. You're drowning on dry land, and often nobody is even noticing you are in the water.
Why, nobody talks about it.
Psychward measures success by one metric: no longer actively psychotic. The second you stop arguing with the ceiling tiles, well, in some country, insurance click the little box said cured. Family exhale a sign of relief, and clinicians bless their overworked hearts, often move you to the back of the priority list. But this transition into a post-psychotic state can bring immense emotional and psychological tolls. Meanwhile, your motivation evaporates. Joy feels like a foreign language. You once knew it, but now you seem to have forgotten it. And showering becomes a Herculean marathon, because you're no longer screaming, no longer visibly distressed. Everyone assumes you're fine. That silence isn't peace. It's the danger zone. And right here, it's crucial to understand that suicide rates in patients with schizophrenia are 20 times higher than in the general population. About 10% of patients tragically die by suicide, and most of these deaths occur during the so-called quiet periods, when depression is rampant. The pervasive social isolation and stigma surrounding schizophrenia only exacerbate these depressive symptoms, leading to reduced hope, self-esteem, and, well, a reluctance to seek help. And I want to quote one of my patients who have written the following for me when she lost her dear friend. She wrote, "We fought for our lives. We won the battle against psychosis, then heartbreakingly lost to the peace, to an insidious peace." This patient lost her dear friend. And this was what she wrote, and this was the only thing she said at the funeral. I was there to support her throughout this process, and admitting this took a toll on her. It also pushed her into another depression. So it is not just the one person it hits.
How it feels from the inside.
To tell you how it feels from the inside, I don't know the inside, but one of my patients wrote the following.
Picture the moment you realize the parade has moved on without you. The meds quieted the chaos, yes, but they also flattened every color out of your world. Friends drift away, unsure what to say now that you're not the interesting sick one anymore. You scroll social media and see peers launching careers and building families, while you're just proud you managed to microwave soup without burning it. It's a profound feeling of loneliness and despair, a struggle to regain any sense of normalcy or purpose after the storm. I spent months wearing the same hoodie because choosing another shirt felt like defusing a bomb, an impossible decision. My psychiatrist asked,
"Any hallucinations?"
I said no. He said,
"Great, keep tapering."
Nobody asked if I still wanted to live, if the quiet had become its own kind of deafening scream.
I do think this gives you an idea, and it gives me an idea of how it is to sit there with this depression and everything is quiet. Imagine being, in the disco, in a nightclub. The music is pounding and it is pounding all night and you're out there on the dance floor and giving it all. And then you leave. It becomes quiet. It becomes totally deafening quiet. When you leave a nightclub, you're still usually in a good mood and you're not depressed. But imagine having had this noise for months, sometimes years, and then losing it. It is like your whole world is falling apart.
Why is it so hard to spot?
For starters, symptoms overlap, like medication side effect, low energy, emotional blunting, and weight gain. So clinicians often shrug it off, probably just the meds. And to complicate things further, negative symptoms of schizophrenia like apathy and the lack of mimic, it mimics depression too. All of this makes getting the diagnosis a real puzzle. But there is the giveaway. The crucial difference, it's the mood. If you wake up grateful the sun didn't rise, if there is persistent crushing sadness that colors every thought, that's depression, not just negative symptoms. This difficulty in definition leads directly to undiagnosis and under-treatment, leaving many suffering in silence. But what about the family? They got to see something. Family often misses it because they're exhausted from the acute phase. Patients miss it because they're trained to monitor hallucination, not rapidly dwindling hope levels. The result? Underdiagnosed, undertreatment, and ultimately, the lack of a lived life.
The data nobody dares to ask for?
The data paints a stark picture. Studies show that up to 27% of patients in remission still grapple with clinical significant depression symptoms. It's a persistent shadow that follows recovery. Treatment often involves atypical antipsychotics like risperidone, olanzapine, or quetiapine, which can help reduce depressive symptoms alongside psychotic ones. But let's be clear, while they offer some relief, they're not antidepressants, and they don't always cut it. Add on an SSRI can often tip the scales in the patient's favor, providing much needed mood elevation. Yet guidelines waffles, fearing destabilization or exacerbation of psychosis. And translation into English. The patient is often left in a limbo while prescribers debate and, the patient suffers. This lack of integrated treatment where both psychosis and depressions are addressed concurrently is a massive problem. The first 6 months after diagnosis or hospital discharge are amongst the most critical period. Suicide risk spikes dramatically because support often evaporates faster than the acute symptoms. Patients desperately need an integrated approach that combines medication, therapy, and a robust social support from the onset of these symptoms.
What actually helps?
First, let's name the beast. Once I learned that post-schizophrenic depression existed, once I understood it was a thing, I started to help my patient in moving away from blaming themselves for failing at recovery, and started to fight with my patient against a recognized opponent. That knowledge alone is empowering for the nurse and the patient. Second, insist on mood tracking with your patient at every appointment your patient have. It's a simple thing that most clinicians forget. And be your patient's fiercest advocate with your patient. Third, push for integrated treatment. An antipsychotic plus an antidepressant when clearly indicated, alongside with therapy that isn't just thought challenging but directly tackles the profound hopelessness and emotion. Think cognitive behavioral therapy adapted specifically for psychosis, compassion focused therapy, or even simple behavioral activation. Getting off the couch to water a plant can literally begin to reboot those sluggish dopamine circuits and restore a sense of agency. Fourth is peer support. It can be an peer employee at the psychiatric ward. It can be online groups like Schizophrenia Depression Warriors, or even physical groups. And some online groups can literally save lives. At 3 a.m. when the urge to disappear feels not just logical but overwhelmingly right. These networks provide crucial social support and sense of belonging. They are vital for mitigating depression and social isolation.
Families and allies, here's your job.
Stop celebrating remission like we crossed the finish line and the race is over. The finish line is a lifetime of managing this, of navigating the ups and downs. Instead, ask, how's your mood today? Not just any voices. Encourage tiny achievable goals. A shower, sending one mail, a walk to the mailbox. Don't underestimate the power of these small victories. If the patient shrugs you off, if it's a pickup and they can't answer you, then offer concrete GPS coordinates. I'll pick you up at 2 for coffee. No decision needed. Just be ready. Your proactive vigilance can be life-saving because in many cases the patient rather die than relapse, and they'll never volunteer that info themselves. Remember, stigma and social isolation exacerbate depressive symptoms. So your continued presence, your unwavering belief, and your non-judgmental support are powerful antidotes to the despair.
My turning point.
The following is an AI read of something my patient wrote.
One night I stood at my window counting floors, calculating fall height, the logical part of my brain coldly assessing the physics of disappearance. My phone buzzed, a fellow survivor texting, "Tell me 3 colors you see right now." I said, "Dirty beige wall, gray sky, orange exit sign." She replied, "Good. Now breathe." That micro-intervention, that tiny anchor in the present, kept me alive until morning. Next day, I demanded an antidepressant. 2 weeks later, colors slowly returned to my flattened world. 4 weeks later, I laughed at a meme, a genuine, unforced laugh. Recovery isn't linear. Some mornings I still weigh the window. The pull of the void is still there. But each day, I choose to text someone first, to reach out, to fight. That choice is the new metric of stability, a testament to resilience.
Hope is a data point too?
Research might lag behind reality, but clinics worldwide are piloting post-psychotic depression clinics. One-stop shops where antipsychotics and antidepressants protocol merge into an integrated treatment approach. And early data shows a 40% reduction in suicide attempts in these settings. It's not perfect, no, but proof that our patients are not doomed to this silent suffering. This underscores the critical need for early detection of depressive symptoms during remission and integrated care. Awareness campaigns in the UK now includes Feeling Flat After Psychosis, a leaflet you will see in every discharge folder at certain psychiatric institutions. A simple but profound acknowledgement of this struggle. But what we need is a global recognition of this problem. Until then, this video can be the campaign you can share. So make sure that you click that share button, share with your fellow nurses, nursing students, or your fellow community, because we need that. We need to spread awareness of the dark side of recovery.
You remember the toolbox? Well, if not, then here it comes.
First tool is Track Moods Daily. A simple journal or app can highlight patterns and provide crucial data for your patient and their care team. Number 2. Ask explicitly about suicidal thoughts. Studies back the effectiveness of the direct question, are you safe, or do you have suicidal thoughts? Don't shy away from it. 3. Combine meds plus meaning. Actively help your patient to either volunteer, take a part-time work or a creative project. Help them to find purpose. It is the most powerful medication. Still needs some medication as a crutch, but it is the most powerful medication is purpose. Number 4, make sure your patient has the crisis line handy. So give them the national number for a crisis line. In my clinic we give it to the psychiatric emergency room, but it might change depending on where you are. Number 5, repeat after me. Depression after psychosis is normal, it's treatable, and it's absolutely not the fault of the patient. And by the way, smash that subscribe button if you want more videos that treats recovery like the marathon it is, not a sprint that the patient will fail. Surviving psychosis is chapter 1. Surviving the silence that follows that insidious grip of depression is the rest of the book. Post-schizophrenic depression isn't a personal flaw, it's a recognized, research-backed, treatable condition, and it's hiding in plain sight. Whether you're a patient, a nurse, or a doctor, we need to have other clinicians know that they need to monitor mood with the same diligence they monitor prolactin levels. Families who ask about joy and meaning with the same concern they ask about voices, and survivors who refuse to whisper about their despair. We need it. We need to actively reduce the stigma and encourage an open conversation about mental health at every stage of recovery to foster a better outcome. And if you want to get smarter on schizophrenia, then check out this video right here, where I talk much more about schizophrenia. It's actually a playlist where I go more in depth with each type of schizophrenia, so I look forward to seeing you right over there.